The census date has passed yet again for the new semester, with students locked in to pay for their classes even if they unenroll. The Whitlam era got rid of university fees in 1974, but the Hawke Labor government reintroduced those fees in 1898. Now in 2018, university fees are higher than ever in Australia.
My name's Tuddy and I'm in second year studying at UTS. In some regard you should have to pay for your uni because you are kind of like elevating yourself and gaining that kind of education capital. But yeah, I am very stressed about it. And I'm not sure whether it's been recently or whether it's just because I've been in year 12 and like entering university that I've actually noticed it. But I think there's definitely universities are kind of marketing themselves more and rebranding themselves. There's been a lot more selling of universities, and I think especially like there's advertising on buses and you just don't necessarily think of that as university. It's kind of not just about educating kids anymore.
With the increased marketing of universities, it is easy to wonder if universities are acting more like businesses nowadays.
So UTS's Marketing and Communication Unit is a team that covers the entire university. I believe that marketing has always been a part of the university's activities, but it has certainly grown in the 10 years or so that I've been here. I arrived in 2008 and the team has grown exponentially, and there's more and more parts of the university are looking for marketing communication services. The Marketing Communication Unit and marketing activities are very important to the university because we work in a very competitive sector. We're competing with other universities, both for students and for funding, and we're also competing with new players in the industry, so private education providers, industry bodies and people like that. The competition from other universities is a big part. Everyone's competing for a limited number of students for both within a domestic and international market. So it's true that universities' environment, the environment we operate in, is much more competitive than it used to be, and so we need to respond to that. In terms of the marketing budget that UTS sets, I can't give you a flat number, but it really depends on what the strategic priorities are. I think that the reduction in the HELP repayment threshold from $55,000 to $45,000 is actually going to inhibit access to education, because it means that some students may not be encouraged to come and study due to some of the barriers, including costs of living expenses and the increased time that it's going to be to actually start repaying that debt.
I feel like it's acceptable now, but I think it's getting more expensive. I've seen all the price increases going up, especially with my degree. So I feel like we're at the brink where it's going to turn into a point where there's already people struggling and there's going to be more people struggling.
Yeah, I think it is expensive in comparison to some other countries.
I'm definitely going to be a bit more screwed when I get out of university. It will be harder for me, I feel, especially when I'm in the graduate position. I know graduate wages aren't the best. So I'll be under a lot of stress even outside of university because of the debt that I do have, and I don't think that's fair at all.
I do have HECS. I'm trying not to think about it. I mean, it's better than paying it all up front now. It's good that we have a way to put it off.
But not everyone is that lucky. International students are expected to pay up front for their expensive degrees, which can put a lot of financial pressure on them and their families back home.
Hi, my name is Kalista. I'm an international student from Singapore and I'm studying Bachelor of Forensic Science in Applied Chemistry. The thing is, in Singapore and in Australia, both are expensive country, and the school fees in Singapore and Australia, there's not much different because our currency is also about the same. Like for me, I'm lucky that part of my tuition fee is being funded by my government. However, I have a friend, she's from Malaysia, and her currency is 3 times as much as compared to mine. So for her, it's really very expensive every semester, because in UTS every semester our tuition fee increases. So you can actually, she's feeling the financial burden as well. So for the first time I started, it was 16,000 a semester, and then the following year it was 17,000 a semester. Now it's close to 18,000.5 a semester. For international students, you have to pay the full amount, and you have to pay at the census date in order for you to continue your studies in any university. Also, I live in student housing. So in student housing before that, like when I first came here, it was 230 a week. So now it is 260 a week. And for student housing, we don't get any subsidy as compared to the Australian, and we have to pay the full amount. So it's very, very expensive as well.